Perfect afternoon for rugby league at ANZ Stadium as the Bulldogs take on Cronulla, a Bulldogs side that has won just one of its last 5 games up against a Cronulla team that certainly has its problems on the road, and particularly here at ANZ Stadium, a ground they haven't won at for over 3 years. Is the season on the line for Cronulla? We'll find out in the next 90 minutes or so. They do have their inspirational skipper Paul Gallen backing up after State of Origin, and a change on the wing. No Isaac Gordon. Nathan Stapleton will start in jersey number 19. The forward pack is pretty impressive with Snowden, Morris, Douglas Smith, Bakuya and Gallen. And the new face on the interchange bench making his debut for the Sharks after a mid-season transfer from the Gold Coast to Sam Takatizi. The coach is Shane Flanagan. Well, the Bulldogs also have their problems, particularly with the discipline. No Jamal Idris today. Laffey will take his number 4 jersey. Ben Roberts playing just his 2nd game in first grade this season. No Michael Ennis today. He suffered a cut ear during State of Origin number 2 on Wednesday night, so he is out. Hasn't been able to sleep very well since Wednesday. That means Dean Hallertau comes into the starting lineup in 17. Corey Payne is off the interchange bench. Michael Hodgson and Josh Reynolds come onto the bench in 19 and 21. The coach is Kevin Moore, and joining me in commentary, Gary Belcher. And Gary, it's been a very tough few weeks for the Bulldogs. 1 win from their last 5. The coach is under pressure. Their biggest name player in Jamal Idris dropped for not turning up to training. Can they put that all behind them and win and get a very valuable 2 competition points to maybe head back into the 8?
Well, Bulldogs fans will be hoping they can. I'm not so sure. I guess it depends on how they start. But you know, change at the scrum base there with Hodgkinson out and Benny Roberts coming in at 5'8", so that certainly will make it a bit tricky. But when you've got your hooker out as well, your playmaker around the ruck, that can be an issue too. So look, I think there could be some issues out there for the Bulldogs. The Sharks, however, I think led by Paul Gallen, they'll be certainly aiming up early in the game.
They've only just gone back into the dressing room, the Bulldogs, after their warm-up, and this Cronulla side has certainly been bolstered today by the return of Jeremy Smith. He has been missing for a few weeks through injury, missed the last 4, and to have him back today is a plus. Can't believe that Luke Douglas is continuing to play after that knee injury he suffered against Melbourne. Snowden there in the front row. Then you've got Gallen, and I know that Shane Flanagan has got a huge rap on Jason Bakuya, and he has been terrific the last couple of weeks as well. That's a very good-looking Cronulla forward pack.
Well, and you add to that off the bench Anthony Tupou, who's a quality player, and Sam Takatizi, who can play in the centres, but when he comes on, but he certainly is, as you said before, the last thing I remember about Sam Takatizi's football was those massive hits that he put on Kieran Foran playing for the Gold Coast. So, you know, he's going to add a bit of starch there as well when he comes on. Plenty of fire in this match.
Here come the Sharkies. They have a pretty ordinary record on the road, Cronulla. They've lost 3 of their past matches, 8 of their past 9, and 10 of their last 11 away matches. They haven't won here at ANZ Stadium since round 5, 2008. So over 3 years since their last win. And it is a big ask today against the Bulldogs side that will come out breathing fire after being in the headlines for recent weeks for all the wrong reasons. Long walk down the race here to come out at the northern end of ANZ Stadium, where Paul Gallen was heroic on Wednesday night, back at the scene of the crime for all Queensland supporters. And his teammates will be hoping that he can lead them the same way he led the Blues on Wednesday night, as Cronulla make their way out. And there's a few Cronulla supporters here hoping that today will be their day.
Yes, no doubt at all. It's an important day for the Sharks. Luke Douglas, how does he do it? 135 NRL games. There you go. Straight. Hasn't missed it. We thought for sure he was gone when he injured his knee against Melbourne a few weeks back and limped off after about 10 minutes. Medial ligament damage, but somehow he backed up the next week. He's had a bye leading into this game. That would have helped with his recovery, but yeah, he gets through a mountain of work. 50, 55 odd minutes every week.
Freakish to recover from that knee injury, which wasn't as bad as they first thought, but would have sidelined most players for at least a week or 2. He worked overtime to get back, of course, off to the Gold Coast Titans next year. There's Ben Pomeroy, who is the leading try scorer for Cronulla this season with 5, and he'll be, well, the club will be hoping his centre partner Colin Best, who just needs a couple to bring up 100. He's been in the 90s for a number of seasons now, Colin Best. back at Cronulla. And 2 tries away from registering that century of tries. There's Michael Hodgson, good to see him back playing. As the Bulldogs make their way out onto ANZ Stadium. No Jamal Idris, and the coach has been mentioned as being under pressure. Well, that inspired the team this afternoon as the skipper Andrew Ryan leads them out in front of the faithful here at ANZ Stadium. And of course, no Jamal Idris, which means that the number 4 has been worn today by Tim Laffey, playing just his 6th first-grade game. There's Benny Barber. That young man has got big shoes to fill. Yeah,
I think he is the obvious replacement for Jamal Idris when Idris goes full-time to the Titans next year. He played those 5 games, NRL games, earlier this season, and very, very good decision-maker in defence. That impressed me. I thought he had a couple of wonderful games there and made some good tackles out there on the left side. Very sharp with the ball in hand as well.
Our referees this afternoon in control, Steve Tedrow Lyons, approaching 150 first-grade games, you would have thought. And on the other side, Alan Shorthall, in his 60th first-grade game this afternoon.
Everybody right down there, boys.
Just waiting for one of the trainers to get off the field. The game hasn't even started. We're underway, NRL Sunday. In beautiful sunshine at ANZ Stadium, and a little bit of a slip and a false start for the Sharkies. And they're up to the 10-metre line with Snowden being tackled. This is Snowden. It was Douglas who had the first hit up. Yeah, wide early, Cronulla. Gallen, quick hands to Best. Best down the touchline and tackled from behind by Turner into touch. A question mark over the pass, which I think may have floated forward, but backwards out of the hands. And Colin Best taken there by Turner. And may have copped a stray boot in the stomach and be a little bit winded.
Yeah, that ball shoveled out, may have been forward, testing out the hammies here. Colin Best had to stay in. Steve Turner, a very good chase and good tackle, has got the Bulldogs the football. So what looked promising for the Sharks on the edge, not real flash with Colin Best bundled into touch.
Here's Laffey. So the set begins for the Bulldogs inside the 40 of Cronulla. Showed a little bit of enterprise, but couldn't stay in touch. Pritchard. And a penalty.
No, his hands have been stripped out.
And in the tackle, Jeremy Smith, one of the men involved. Maybe Chad Townsend. He just lost that.
That's a loose carry, isn't it?
Tolman, second in the NRL in metres gained average per game behind Paul Gallen. They've missed him, the Dogs, as well. Roberts. Here's Ryan, 5 metres away from the goal line. So into touch, and then a penalty from Cronulla in the first couple of minutes. And the Dogs with an opportunity. Ben Barber up quickly. The defence from Cronulla, terrific tackle.
Sharks always had the numbers there defensively, and they read it very, very well. Should have gone to the left, the Doggies. The tackle before.
Backwards.
That was fortunate there for Canterbury. David Stagg playing his 150th first-grade game as hit as he went to pass the ball, and Hallertau picked it up. Now here's Roberts, Pritchard, Morris, and the defence from Cronulla is strong. It is the last tackle. Roberts will look for the kick. Under pressure, off legs, not played. He's offside.
He's offside.
He has to be offside.
They both called it. He's got to be offside.
Alan Shortall called offside, and Steve Tedrow Lyons said, oh, there's a shot. Greg Eastwood. He said that the player came from behind to dive on it. It was touch and go if that was the case.
Well, even if it's accidentally offside, I mean, if it's
not
kicked into
accidental
it.
offside. It can't be accidental offside. He deliberately dived on the football.
Right.
He's ruling that he came from behind the man that last touched it. And I think that is touch and go.
Roberts puts the kick in. Well,
he's clearly
not
in front.
behind. 3 metres in front.
Clearly in front. The only way, no, clearly in front.
Well, that's 1-1. It's squared up, isn't it? There shouldn't have been a penalty against the Sharks in the first place for that strip in the tackle, and
10-2, boys, 10-2.
they've evened it up. No harm done.
Alan Shortall called it offside, got it right. Steve Tedrow Lyons got it wrong. Here's the Sharks.
Keeping count on that for the referees there.
35 metres away from the line, Cronulla. Defensively, they handled everything the Bulldogs threw at them in that set. Not that there was much thrown at them by the Dogs.
No, a bit of a pretty good shift. Pritchard out to Morris on the left. Oh, that's a ball out the back. Has to be cleaned up by the Sharks.
Let him go.
Morris inside the 20. 15 metres away from the line. Townsend. Here's Graham. Now behind here to Gardner. Gets the pass to Best. Good sliding defence here from the Dogs. Gardner near the touchline. Kicks to Barber. Well, is this the way the Sharks are going to play for 80 minutes in another strip? Well, they've only had the ball for 3 sets, Cronulla. One of those they got a penalty, and the other 2, they certainly have chanced their arm at both ends of the field.
Yeah, Gardner on the wraparound there decided to... Well, all he could do was try to kick it. He was going to run into touch. And Ben Barber was waiting for it. But they look like they're going to have a go with the football. It's a perfect afternoon for rugby league. Great conditions. We even saw on Wednesday night how good the ball control was from both the New South Wales and Queensland teams were on a pretty slippery night. So no excuses today for any mistakes, and Sharks are feeling good about throwing it around.
Turner plays it, shy of halfway. Now here's the kick from Roberts. Into the corner. It was outside the 40, but it's a terrific kick. He was hoping that it would go into touch or touching goal. Gardner.
10-2, boys, 10-2.
And they don't come much better than that. The kick, or was there a little knock on there at acting half?
Well, I think it was just a stumble there, but wasn't that a great kick? Ben Roberts.
Pomeroy, 3 tackles. They're 5 metres out from their own line. Here the Sharks. Tolman finally getting off him. Great kick, great chase, and his right plays it. Here's Morris. Bakuyu been in a strong tackle.
Stand up, here we go.
Townsend with the kick, straight down the throat of Ben Barber. And the Bulldogs will start this set from near the halfway line. And Smith came up with the tackle after Pomeroy bounced away from him. Let 40 metres away. Cronulla line. Keating. And Stagg. Inside one, but nice cover defence there from Smith. Alatau juggle from Keating. Snowden coming in there. I'm sure that tackle was complete. Well, Jeremy Smith is a mile offside. You heard the referee say he was offside, and he stopped at his run. Smith, it is the last tackle. Quick play the ball. Roberts dummied to kick, gives it to Morris, and Cronulla's defence is there to wrap him up. It'll be the changeover.
10-2, boys, 10-2.
We saw a fantastic long kick from Ben Roberts the set before that got him into this position, the Bulldogs, but the set before that and this one, they finished pretty poorly. An ordinary kick by Roberts, and then on that occasion decided to run it on the last. Sharks up to it defensively.
Best, Townsend.
Up now, let's go. Oh, no. Play on.
Morris. There's Douglas. Arriving late, Wade Graham. Good tackle from Eastwood. Now here is Wade Graham. A kick straight down the throat of Ben Barber. 10 out from his own line. Decides to let Michael Lett have a run on this occasion. And he brings it out over the 30-metre line, and Barber arrived. He just couldn't get the ball to him. Lett, here's Turner.
Certainly winning the battle, aren't they, for metres? The Bulldogs getting themselves up in Sharks territory. Ryan now trying to get them going forward. I just wonder with Greg Eastwood playing at prop, how that affects his game. Here he is with a hit up, looking to offload, but I like him a little bit wider of the ruck where he can use that footwork better. Certainly big enough for prop.
Lafayette. It is the last tackle here for the Bulldogs. Just shy of the 30-metre line. Kade into the corner. And that'll go over the touchline. I'm not sure that he wanted it to do that. But as it turns out, it gives both sides an opportunity to have a little bit of a breather as we approach the 10-minute mark. And I would think that at the moment, Cronulla would be reasonably happy with the way they've started the game. You'll notice there Paul Gallen with the black armband, and that is in memory of Sapper Rowan Robinson, who was tragically killed in action, 23 years of age, from Holsworthy Army Barracks, and his funeral last Friday. And a massive Sharkies fan and the players wearing black armbands today in memory of the 23-year-old Sapper Rowan Robinson. Some more inspiration for Cronulla this afternoon, who defensively have pretty much handled what the Dogs have thrown at them so far.
You don't want to play too much football down this end of the park, do you? Because you can eventually you might open up play on called by the ref or one of the referees.
It was a play on or play. I thought initially said play it, but there's a penalty. It must have been play on, otherwise they would have penalised it.
We've seen confusion there too, haven't we? Players don't quite understand the call. Was it Tolman there?
It was a good break by Bakuya. As I mentioned, I spoke to Shane Flanagan before first round match against Canberra, where they got touched up, and he was very disappointed that Bakuya had been ruled out that day. They have a big opinion of him, and I've only seen him in 5 matches so far this year, but the more football he's getting under his belt, the better he looks. He's had a horror run with injuries, Jason Bakuya. Graham, now here's Gallen. Had runners left and right, but they were covered by the defence, and Gardner taken without the football. Just there getting up off the ground. Smith almost ran behind Morris. And the tackler's made 5 out from the line. Quick play the ball. Morris. Tolman was offside. Hallertau holds him up, and the upright doesn't do Morris any favours.
So mate, you never back and you interfered. You deliberately stood in front of mate. He knew exactly what he's doing, mate.
What will they do here, Cronulla? They struggle to score points, the Sharks.
What are you doing, mate?
They're going to take the 2 or take the tap. They're going to take... They're going to make a decision shortly. They're going to take the 2 points.
Surprised none of his teammates actually asked Paul Gallen what he was going to do.
We've seen that a little bit of late. We saw it, of course, last night against Newcastle against Penrith, and it proved to be a critical moment. And we saw it, of course, in Origin on Wednesday night as well. Queensland taking the first points there, and Aidan Tolman is the man that was penalised. And even though he tried to make it look as though he wasn't involved, he got in John Morris's way. As we head downstairs to Braithen Astor, who is, of course, the captain of the Roosters. It's always a tough call whether to take the 2 on offer or try and turn it into 6.
Yeah, it is. I'm a little bit surprised. The way that the Sharks have started the game, they've been throwing the ball around and trying to score tries. It is a do-or-die game for them today, and they must win. I thought they might have tested their hand and tried to score the first try of the match, so a little bit surprising for me that they've taken the 2 points.
Of course, added to that, they've got to kick it yet. Chad Townsend, one of 5 goal kickers Cronulla has used this year. 10 metres out, he should have little trouble. He wouldn't be the first bloke to miss one from in front. He doesn't do it there. And it is Cronulla leading by 2 points to 0.
Yeah, you couldn't be in much better attacking position for a full set of 6, could you? Starting there 10 or 12 metres out. There was some indecision about it. I thought they probably should have had a bit of a go with the football. They haven't been up there at all, really, in that territory.
Sam Takatizi there in his Cronulla jersey.
New recruit.
Very surprising to see him lead the Titans. Here comes the return of the football. And Kade Snowden, what a terrific run that was. Stand in front of that. Matthew Wright. Of course, Cronulla signing Bryce Gibson. Andrew Fafita during the week. John Green is also on his way to Cronulla from St George Illawarra. The 4 props that Cronulla has signed to replace Snowden and Douglas to give them a little bit of depth for next year. Jeff Robson, of course, signed.
Yep.
And there's more to come.
Spending big.
Kick will roll over the dead ball line. And Barber will bring it back. So good point there after set. Good set after points, I should say, for Cronulla. They're able to get their defensive line set. As the Dogs will work it up the other end.
Well, you don't want to give too many opportunities to Ben Barber bringing the football back. Almost created something with Michael Lett, the man with the football. Last time they carried it back. Very dangerous.
Stagg. You mentioned how the away record for Cronulla is pretty poor, and their record here at ANZ Stadium is pretty poor. They don't like playing the Bulldogs either. They haven't beaten them since round 10, 2007. Roberts, Morris. Away from the touchline, Ryan. Keeping it alive here, but no one going forward. Ben Roberts has tackled just shy of the 40-metre line. It is the last here for Canterbury. As Keating gets his kick away and in between winger and fullback, but a nice bounce for Nathan Gardner. And Stapleton will return it up towards the 20-metre line. Time off here for someone with a blood bin. Hayden Tolman it is.
Mate, if I miss the call, then I can't help it, can I?
Just above the left eye. Well spotted by the referee. Here's the return. The slow motion just gives you an indication as what the body goes through in those collisions. And that was just a standard hit-up, really, wasn't it, from a winger returning the football?
Oh, boys, you ready to go?
Stable.
Oh,
They go in hard, I know that.
Cronulla with that 2-point advantage. There's Gallen. Bounced away from one, still going Gallen. 10 short of the halfway line. Smith. Offload, nice offload too, as Smith gets it back from Kade Snowden. Townsend kicking into the corner. It's not a bad kick either, but it doesn't get a Cronulla bounce, and it'll be another 20-metre restart. Interesting. Well, we had 15 minutes of play, and Paul Gallen has just had 3 tackles and 3 hit-ups so far to start the game. Douglas and Morris have had 11 tackles each, and Snowden and Douglas have had 5 hit-ups each. So
he's off his game, Gallen. Just about 15 by now.
Just showing how he's just trying to work his way into the match.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't quite come to, but yeah, he has to play a backseat role to his front rowers in the early hit-ups. And those two guys, they'd be pushing him out of the way for the football, Douglas and Snowden.
Kade Snowden would be keen to press his claims for Origin 3 as Sam Cassiano is on the field for the Dogs, replacing Greg Eastwood. And as his first hit up, Gallen racks up another tackle there, and Stagg gets the ball away to Barber, who then finds Roberts as they change from the right-hand side to their left-hand edge, Canterbury. And the tackle just shy of the 30. Keating on the last tackle. Gardner traps it. I must say, Gary, they've completed every set, Canterbury. 8 from 8, Cronulla's 8 from 9. The only incomplete set was the first of the match when Colin Best was tackled into touch. But I think it's fair to say that the Bulldogs have not really tested the Cronulla defence a great deal so far.
They haven't really, but I think the coach would be very happy. And there's another Sharks player going into touch. We saw it happen in the first set of the game, and that's a bit of a shame. Johnny Morris there, just I think it was his backside over the line there.
Yep.
But the important thing from the Dogs' point of view, from the coach's point of view, is he wants them to get through their sets, complete their sets. If they don't make mistakes and give away simple turnovers, they're going to be in the game. Territorially, they're going to be in the game. And at some point, more opportunities will open up.
Set down to the touchline, Braithen Astor.
Yeah, just on Benny Roberts. Big job for him today with Hodgson not playing here today. Kicking game. He got away a few good long kicks. He needs to improve his last tackle options close to the line. And also, if he can take the line on, that's when he's at his best. And if he can put his left foot and right foot step on, Benny Roberts, keep an eye on him today.
Morris plays it, 10 into Cronulla territory. Here's Pritchard. Hasn't seen much of the football in the first 8 sets that Canterbury has had it. Tolman. 20 metres away from the line. Roberts. Keating. Now Benny Barber kicking for Turner. Gardner. Turner's lost a terrific Cronulla defence. But Nathan Gardner gets up clutching his shoulder.
Turner had no option but to play at the football. And the Sharks players had to wait for him to play it, and they were going to crunch him. Gardner was always, as it sat up here, oh yeah, he had a great opportunity to put a shot on him through the right shoulder in. I think that's the one that he's clutching. He seems all right now, Nathan Gardner. Nicely placed kick. Well, he's got some try-scoring ability on that side there, haven't they, with Steve Turner?
Pomeroy. Best. Casiano hits him solidly with some assistance from Dean Hallertau. Morris offloading.
Milking.
Snowden there getting up and just exchanging pleasantries. You could hear the referee say he was milking the penalty. Graham, all it did was slow the play, the ball down. Here's Gardner through the tackle of Tolman. Where's the support? There's none coming. Ben Barber comes up with a terrific tackle. One-on-one in open field. It is the last here for Cronulla. Townsend kicking into the corner. Lett has it covered and takes it over the dead ball line.
Yeah, good kick in the end there. I thought perhaps they would have shifted that last tackle play. They looked really at 6s and 7s, the Bulldogs' defence after Gardner's bust.
Stay outside, boys.
Good ball from Gallen, the short ball back inside. Gardner through one tackle. Tries to put the left footer on Ben Barber. He read it beautifully. Good tackle from the Bulldogs fullback.
Stay on there, boys.
Defensive line a bit scrappy there, the Bulldogs.
First opportunity for a repeat set this afternoon. It goes to Cronulla. And here comes Kade Snowden. Draws off to Tinkertown in 2012. Back to Newcastle. Graham. Gallen. Runs at Keating and Laffey. They come up with the tackle. Right at acting half. Graham. Now here's Townsend. A pass to Gardner. Chance here for Cronulla. The kick well weighted for Pomeroy. Nathan Gardner with a kick. Ben Pomeroy with the try. And Cronulla lead by 6-0. Well, Nathan Gardner's used to scoring them. This one he's set up.
They gave him some space. Very nice. He's inside men there.
And he's limping.
Gardner. He is limping. Tackled just as he put the kick in. Nice play. The ball out the back here. Decoy runner to Gardner. Gives him some space. Ben Roberts was really stretched to try to get him. The Bulldogs 5'8". A nice kick through. And Pomeroy easily the first man there. Nice work. The inside man. Gets it on the left foot. Well, a couple of times they've thrown the football around in the last few sets. They've been very dangerous, haven't they, the Sharks? It's not the best high five we're going to see.
In their defence, and they haven't had too many opportunities to be doing that, Cronulla. Their attack has been...
That's a bit cruel.
I had to throw it in there. Sorry, Cronulla fans. They'll work on that, don't they? High five celebrations.
Oh, they might get lots of chances to practice it today. Been good. Oh, that Bulldogs defence, the last 2 sets has really looked a bit scrappy.
He's still limping, Gardner. quite noticeably, in fact, heading back to fullback as Townsend will try and extend the lead. Once you do an ankle injury, you hurt your ankle, it's never quite the same unless you have a really long break, is it? You come back and you might think you're okay, as the fans, the Cronulla supporters, who are at the southeastern corner of ANZ Stadium, trying to help their man. And he struck it very well and adds the extra 2. And Cronulla has skipped out to an 8-0 lead just over halfway through the first half. We'll keep an eye. There is the try scorer, 6 on the season now for Ben Pomeroy. We'll just keep an eye on Nathan Gardner to see how that ankle scrubs up after he set up the try. And he's still limping quite noticeably on that right ankle. Been impressive in the start here, Cronulla. There is Nathan Gardner. You see, not putting a huge amount of weight on that right leg.
Just a bit of discomfort for him, but yeah, we've seen him play in pain before. He'll be okay.
Morris. Now Gallen. 15 metres short of the halfway line. Smith. Shy of halfway. Gallen. It's a good set here from Cronulla. Very easily making it to 40 metres out. And now Graham puts the kick high in the air for Barber. 10 out from his own line. Just a little bit too deep. And Cronulla's chasers couldn't get down there to really put much pressure on him. But he's still tackled 10 out from his own line.
It's where you want to turn the football over, isn't it? So it's not a bad tactic, that high ball, as long as you've got plenty of chasers. Because by the time Ben Barber caught it and looked around, they were all up on him. Now a mistake from Ben Roberts. Called lost.
Their last 2 sets, they haven't completed, the Bulldogs. They went 8 from 8, they're now 8 from 10. Just standing around a bunch there, Canterbury. The offload from Josh Morris, and a little bit shell-shocked at the moment, I think. Down by 8-0.
The Sharks got, and Nathan Gardner, more importantly, what's he got? Already made a break-in, set up a try. Here he goes.
Here's a chance right for the corner. Gardner's going to hang on to it himself. Did he get it down? Well, they just held off in Canterbury. And Nathan Gardner, I think, was surprised he was over the goal line. I'm not sure whether he got it down or not.
He might have put it down, I think, on a Canterbury player.
Well, he's shaking his head. Bernie Sutton is the man that has to decide.
He wants to look at this as well, Nathan Gardner.
Oh, he got it down.
Is that on the boot of a Bulldog, or is it on the ground? That's what the video referee has to contend with. Trying to plant it down. Plenty of Dogs players around him. Bit of grass.
That's a try.
I'll go with you there.
He's missed the boot.
He's caught. They're looking at it again. It's close.
It's a try. You don't think it's a try?
I'll tell you more after this angle. Yeah, there you
That's
go.
A try.
On the dead try.
What were the Bulldogs doing? What were the Bulldogs doing?
Well, they committed some inside players with a good decoy. There's no doubt about this.
Bernard Sutton.
There you go.
Yeah,
Bernie, it's a try.
5th try of the year. And Nathan Gardner on the back of the mistake from Ben Roberts. The decision is a try. And Cronulla, 2 tries in 3 minutes, lead by 12-0. The mistake from Ben Roberts punished straight away. And this defence from Canterbury from the scrum, well, they slid and then went backwards.
He's just got such speed. When they gave him some room on the outside, Nathan Gardner, the speed put him under all sorts of pressure. Yeah, look at that. Nice clean put down despite the attention of
I thought Matthew Wright was going to score easily. It's
a good decoy. But because they came up and in a little bit too far, the Bulldogs, they were all scrambling wide, weren't they? He's just got enormous pace. That's, you know, you have to be one of the quickest players in the game over 30-40 metres.
Well, he set up the first and scored the second.
And made a good bust before that. That answers your question about his sore ankle.
Well, he runs all right with it. A bit dusty. He's not limping now. Townsend. 20 metres out. Right on the touchline. Awful kick. Tough one. He certainly didn't strike it very well, but 12 points to nil is the score. And perfect start at the moment for Cronulla. And Canterbury got some work to do. The last two sets have been incomplete. A repeat set for Cronulla, a try, a drop ball from Canterbury, a try. And Cronulla dominating possession at the moment, up near 60%. And remarkably, over 60% of the game has been played in Cronulla's half, yet they lead by 12.
They've only been up there twice. Well, 3 times they kicked a goal. Of course, the first time they opted from a penalty to take the shot at goal. The other 2 occasions they've scored.
Well, they've been tackled in the opposition 24 times and come away with points on 3 of those 4 occasions.
4! Move now! 10 boys to the left.
Square, boys.
Smith plays it, gets up slowly, holding his left ankle too. Now they've got a chance down the touchline. Colin Best inside Laffey, offloading to right, who's lost a boot somewhere. Or has he got one on his foot? Or is it just his sock over the boot? Now Gardner out of acting half. Here's Graham, it's the last tackle. Morris throws it out the back. Graham gets it. Now they keep it alive and Townsend drops it, or is it Bakuya? It is.
Oh, it was a good chance, wasn't it? There was some real space out wide there. Canterbury players trying to react. Bakuya just had to get hold of it and go to the line.
He was just looking at the sun and setting down. Setting.
They're looking vulnerable.
Very. Reynolds on the field, Casiano, and the pass was forward.
Yeah, that was
first involvement from Josh Reynolds, replacing Dean Hallertau.
Michael Ennis
with that cut ear. Some sleepless nights for him.
The first play you've heard pulled out from lack of sleep in the game.
He's got a cut ear.
He's got a seriously cut ear there.
Just look.
Right. But his side's missing him.
1-1. Okay, you don't have to get spiteful because you lose an Origin game.
Oh,
all right.
Please.
New South Wales was the better side.
Absolutely, they were.
Just cop it. 47 fantasy points for Nathan Gardner. Just with 10 out from half time.
So any Queensland players missed this week because they've got to take a sleep.
Well, when you lose, you can sleep pretty easily, I suppose. Best plays it. Here's Wright. 10 metres out. And they've been penalised big time the last couple of times they've turned it over. Canterbury. Can Cronulla make them pay again? Townsend. Bakuya. Straight and hard. Pomeroy. If he holds on to it, he scores. Now Barber. They may go from one end to the other. No one will catch Ben Barber. Can you believe that? Cronulla, Pomeroy catches it. At one end they score. He drops it. Ben Barber picks it up. And there was no catching him. What a turnaround at ANZ Stadium.
Well, that gets them back in the match. The Bulldogs really struggling the last 10 minutes. A couple of tries against. That looked likely to be another Cronulla try. And you said it, Mark. If Pomeroy holds it, he ran a really tight line, a tough line. Couldn't hang on to this pass. It just pops back, I think, slightly behind him. He'd like to take it. It was going to always be a tough tackle there for Josh Morris. And you'll see it. It ends up in the hands of big Frank Pritch. Is it Big Frank?
Sam Casiano.
Sam Casiano. The left-hand flick out the back. Who do you want there? The quickest man on your team. Benny Barber. Nathan Gardner's trying so hard he falls over in the chase. And they just can't quite get to him. He scored plenty this year for the Dogs. And that is a very important one.
12th try of the year for Ben Barber. And right in front, Steve Turner has little trouble, and Barber extends his lead from top of the try-scoring list, the NRL try-scoring list. Braith and Astor, they will be absolutely devastated. Cronulla going so close at one end and very slow reaction when the ball hit the ground.
Oh, that was absolutely huge there. What about the two speedsters for both teams? Nathan Gardner from the Sharks causing all sorts of havoc for the Bulldogs on their line. And then Ben Barber, when he finds open space, he's too hard to catch.
Here's Tolman.
And if they didn't try to throw that ball to Ben Pomeroy, Gardner was wrapping around. I thought there was going to be a good chance for him again. It was a big turnaround.
Here's Ryan. Certainly injected a little bit of spirit. More pace in the attack here of Canterbury.
Let him go.
They made a couple of changes. Cronulla, you see Sam Tagataese there putting pressure on the kicker. Talima Tautai also came on. Jeremy Smith and Kade Snowden. There's a mistake from Gardner.
Zero.
Well, knock on, they ruled against Josh Reynolds. It was a strip.
Hell now.
Fortune there for Cronulla. They got the ball back anyway. Stapleton. They look to be a little bit disorganised at the moment, the Sharks. Gallen. Here's Tupou.
I think it looks like they've done some homework on the Bulldogs' defence and decided they can get some big metres on this left side, the Sharks. Gone here plenty of times this afternoon, and it's been pretty good for them.
Laffey with the tackle. Now Morris. Graham with the knock on. Went backwards, says the referee.
Oh, no.
Let it go now.
Well, that's sure. Well, it had to have hit his hand. Well, it did hit his hand. It had to have gone forward. I think they all gave up on it. Cronulla. Paul Gallen threw his hands in the air.
Last one.
Andrew, last tackle, let's go.
The only person that thought it went backwards is the referee, and he's the only one that counts. Townsend with the kick. Turner under it. Here comes Best. Turner makes the tackle. They picked him up and forced him back in goal. We've seen that penalised.
As long as they don't pick him up off the ground is the important part from the referee's point of view, and safety. They drove him back before he actually was really ever on the ground. Well, here's the try that ended up for the Dogs. Just look at Gardner wrapping around the back. He had a 2-on-1. They opted for the short ball, Pomeroy, and from there, it ends up Ben Barber at the other end of the field.
Stay front.
Stay on.
Last time they had a goal line dropout, the Dogs, they weren't able to keep Cronulla out. Tautai, legs chopped away by Reynolds.
He got his head in the wrong spot there,
Didn't he?
Josh Reynolds.
Morris. One-on-one steal. Josh Reynolds has come up with two in the last two sets.
He's in everything.
And now a penalty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've seen Talima Tautai give away a few penalties in that kind of situation. He was just laying on him for too long. The Reynolds, big effort there. Great work for the strip.
Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
And now a penalty for his team as well. Tautai just hanging around too long. Can't do that.
Tide is turning. They still trail by 6, the Bulldogs, but they certainly have a little bit more spring in their step. Keating. Nice through. Here's Hodgson. Tackled on the 40. And a penalty. In fact, it's Grant Millington against his former club.
Have a look at the hands on his back. Yeah, but your knee was in there. Your knee was in there, Paul. Oh! Your knee was in there.
Back-to-back penalties, giving the Dogs the piggyback down the field. Hodgson. Here's Millington. Graham over the top making the tackle. Tupou was around the legs. They're 5 metres away from the line. Canterbury on the attack. Keating turns the ball back on the inside to Hodgson. Second hit up in this set. 10 metres away.
Roberts and Barber deep on the left.
They go that way. Keating, the ball, a forward pass And a forward call from someone. Jeez, it was line ball.
I don't think it looked forward at all. It just looked like a flat ball out wide to Frank Pritchard. No, that's...
Well, seen worse that game. Saw Penrith score one last night from a pass that was the metre forward.
Oh, the Broncos. Rabbitohs scored one, I think, Nathan Gardner, Friday night. Some forward passing. We get those flat line ball calls that, you know, I think we would have let them go.
And Canterbury broke from the scrum before the ball was out. There was no opposition there in the scrum that was packed. And now the Bulldogs are all 2 metres in front of the referee here.
Oh, it's kind of a dummy play, the ball, wasn't it?
Well, you either penalise Cronulla or you penalise the Bulldogs. Tauta.
I just want someone to tell me that wasn't the touch judge who made that call on the forward pass. I'll be happy.
Townsend, Graham, here's Gallen. Tommy's inside the Tupou, hands it Keating and he's told to hold it by best, and he did. Right, now the kick from Graham into the corner. Barber, terrific kick there from Wade Graham. Barber having to play at it and returns it. And he's tackled 5 out from his own line.
Yeah, good work, Wade Graham and Cronulla chasers. Couple there that they've put some real pressure on. They've been better in that part of the game, haven't they, the Sharks? They've had a repeat set from a good kick in goal. And they've turned the ball over a few times, really deep in the Bulldogs' territory.
Turner, hit by Morris. There's Reynolds. That ball was forward to Casiano. Further forward than the pass. It was called back before. The big front rower offloads to the man that started it. He finishes it, Josh Reynolds. And the Bulldogs are well and truly back. The two interchange players combining. Reynolds started it and Reynolds finished it.
Oh, good effort, wasn't it? Josh Reynolds. He turned him inside out, created the bust, and finished it off for the Bulldogs. Look at that, just a left foot step at marker. A little short, well, I'm happy with that, that's fine. Casiano, he does the right thing. Just drawing the last man and passing back to Reynolds. He's got the speed to get himself into the corner. That's good, you see why he saw one marker, got him with turned him inside out, the short offload to Casiano and then backed up to get into the corner.
First try in first grade. Josh Reynolds in just his 3rd game in the top grade. Let's see how the celebrations. So they get it right. But that was a low 5 rather than a high 5, which has obviously got a greater degree of difficulty.
The high 5 has.
Yeah.
Didn't get to do too many of those myself.
Let's keep pushing, boys.
And there is the try, and what a time to score it too in the last minute before half-time.
I don't think the Bulldogs need to get back and ready for the kick-off here. Won't be enough time.
He'll be really disappointed. Shane Flanagan. They've been the better side, Cronulla, and they may only lead by 2. Here's Turner from the touchline. Has it got the legs? No, it hit the upright. And the crossbar hit the woodwork and stayed out. And at half-time here on NRL Sunday, it is Cronulla leading Canterbury by 12 points to 10. And Braithen Astor, you've got to play the full 40 minutes each half.
Yeah, certainly do. Can you believe it? I can't. Cronulla have completely dominated the first half off the back of enterprising football from Gardner. But the Bulldogs, they find themselves only 2 points away from victory. It's going to be a great second half. I can't wait.
We will take a break here on NRL Sunday and come back and look at some terrific action from the first 40 minutes. Bulldogs have worked their way back into the game after trailing 12 points to nil. And as you can see, Cronulla has dominated possession, but the Bulldogs have dominated field position. And I would think that Shane Flanagan, after the performance that the Sharks have put in for the first 30 minutes of this first half, would be bitterly disappointed to be only leading by 2 points.
Yeah, not a lot between the two teams statistically, but they have been the better side when they've had the football in hand. The Cronulla Sharks come up with two very, very good tries, but, you know, they gave away one, an opportunist try, and then poor defence right at the end there has the Bulldogs right back in the match.
As we mentioned, they led 12 points to nil. Cronulla, the first try of the game, was scored by Ben Pomeroy. Nathan Gardner was involved in both of the Cronulla tries.
In the lead-up work to this as well, he made a very good break. And then a nice ball out the back here. The same play they should have put on later on. He got it on the toe there. And the Bulldogs defenders were all well and truly up in the line. Ben Barber just a bit too far away at fullback to cover, defend on that one. It's a beautifully placed kick. And Pomeroy, he got a pretty well a free snatch at the football and did well to finish it off. And then Gardner from this scrum. This is the kind of speed he's got. They just made a mistake there. The Bulldogs defender or two jamming in too far. Yeah, Tim Laffey it was, who just got caught in a little bit too close, and you can't give him any room at all. Nathan Gardner will score, very good.
And then the Bulldogs went from one end to the other. If Pomeroy catches that, very hard to stop from there. He only had Barber to beat, and it seemed as though Cronulla stopped. The Bulldogs went on, and Ben Barber, who was thinking about tackling Ben Pomeroy a second or two before this, then ran 80 metres to score to give the Bulldogs a much-needed boost, because up until then, they were particularly flat.
They reacted really well. I've got to say, Josh Morris in the centres, he was in two minds. Didn't know whether to tackle Ben Pomeroy or wait for Gardner on the wraparound. Well, fortunately, it hit the ground, and yeah, Casiano picked it up and sent his fullback away. So that got them back in the match. At that point, they were really on their heels. And this is just a bit of poor work around the marker area. One marker, he gets turned inside out by Josh Reynolds. Casiano again with the final offload, and Reynolds into the corner. Gardner can't get hold of him. They didn't convert, but they're only 2 points behind the Bulldogs.
And Sam Casiano involved in both the last pass to Ben Barber and the last pass there to Josh Reynolds for the Bulldogs. His first try in first grade, and what a time to score it just before half-time, right on half-time, in fact, to give us a 12 points to 10 scoreline. 2 tries apiece, the only difference being a penalty goal to Chad Townsend and a kick from Steve Turner, which hit the upright and crossbar and came back in right on half-time. The Bulldogs weren't in it for the first 30 minutes, but they clawed their way back, as they have done so often in the past. And Cronulla just seemed to lose their way there when that ball hit the ground from Pomeroy. After that, the Bulldogs just lifted, and Shane Flanagan would have been thinking at 30 minutes into the game, well, this is as good a performance we've been put in for a while. They've done it for 30. They've got to come back out in the second half and start again.
Yeah, I'm really confident about the way the Sharks are going to go in the second half, because I think he'd rev them up a little bit there, Shane Flanagan, just given the fact that they let the Bulldogs back in the match. But gee, they had their defence all over the place. The Doggies, they look a bit shaky in that department. I think the Sharks are looking pretty good.
For a team leading at half-time, 12 points to 10, they are the outsiders, the Sharks. There's still pretty good value there, because the Dogs have not won when they've travelled at half-time this season, so that is not a good record for them, but there's only 2 points the difference. A break and back with all the action of the second half on NRL Sunday. Wonderful action there from the first half. The slow motion camera really showing what the body goes through. And Cronulla at the moment lead by 12 points to 10. The bad news is for this side, Canterbury, despite the fact that they were down 12-0 and got back to 12-10, they have not won a game this season when they've trailed at half-time. Can they turn that around today? Or will Cronulla hold on and go on and pick up a much-needed 2 competition points and continue? It has been a miserable couple of weeks for the Bulldogs. They did show some promising signs to score a couple of tries in the last 10 minutes before half-time and get them back within 2. But Cronulla, for the first 30 minutes, they were all over the Bulldogs, and maybe with a bit of luck, could have been leading 18 points to 0 if Ben Pomeroy held on to the pass that he dropped that was picked up by Casiano, and Ben Barber raced away to score. And Paul Gallen, after a Herculean effort on Wednesday night, has backed it up and he's already approaching the 100-metre mark just before half-time. He's been a little bit more selective in the first half, but he's still racking up the numbers.
Yeah, playing on the left side, I guess he has to wait his turn at times, or for the football to come his way, as opposed to being in the front row and hitting it up wherever they are on the park. But he still had 9. And plenty more in the second half as well as the doggies come out.
The NRL's leading try scorer has been at it again today. Another try to Ben Barber, and in the Jim Beam Fantasy NRL, 24 points. The 2 fullbacks having a good day today. You can still enter $1,000 to be won every week. foxsports.com.au/NRL. First try and first grade for Josh Reynolds. Short haul had to get us underway for the second half.
It was a beauty, wasn't it, as well? That'll be on the highlights reel for good.
He's come up with 2 one-on-one steals. He did throw a forward pass, which led to a turnover for the Bulldogs. His first touch of the footy, but since then, he's been outstanding. Coming on for Dean Hallertau. Of course, no Michael Ennis today. And here's Hodgson returning it. Canterbury getting first use of the football, defending the southern end of ANZ Stadium, which is in complete shadow now. Casiano's been good as well. Ryan forced back in the tackle. Tautai over the top, and John Morris in there as well. Stagg hitting highest tackle. The referee said no, it was okay. Gallen and Tupou involved. Here's the 30-metre line he's playing it on. Keating. Millington just shy of the 40. It is the last tackle for Canterbury's first set after the half-time break, and it comes out to Roberts. They had a chance there if they wanted to run at Canterbury, but just taking a safer option and kicking down on the full, though, to Nathan Stapleton, who brings it back over the 30-metre line. And Paul Gallen was penalised for exactly what Josh Morris just did then, earlier in the first half.
Yeah, standing all over the player. Well, Gallen was accused of putting his knees right against it or into the player. But they got through their first 8 sets of this game. The Canterbury Bulldogs were complete. They weren't playing great football, but it really kept them in the match. So I guess that's probably the instruction from their coach at half-time.
Townsend. Pomeroy back on the angle. Morris and Roberts there, but the offload coming from Pomeroy, who finds Townsend. Last tackle, 25 metres away from the goal line. So Wade Graham with a little bit of time to get his kick away, and it's an awful kick as well. But it's been taken by Wright, who kicks again, and Barber has it pinned in his corner. The best of kicks from Wade Graham initially, but the end result, Cronulla's not too bad. The Dogs have to work it out from inside their own 10.
Posing one there, Matthew Wright. There's Wade Graham. He turned it into not a bad result with that little kick.
Casiano.
A big unit, isn't he? Sam Casiano, hard man to stop. Taking 3 defenders with him then.
Stagg. And Tautai.
Has he got a target on his head? That's 2 hit-ups in the second half, David Stagg. And Paul Gallen's first tackle was just slipped up a bit high, but that one definitely had to be penalised. He said it in the first half as well. He's got some great skill about him, Talima Tautai, and a solid player, but he gave away a few penalties.
Hands off, boys, hands off.
Well, they had Canterbury working hard to get out of their own end. Just gave them a free entry card into Cronulla territory. Reynolds, now Stagg, Barber somehow gets the ball out the back, and Keating has picked it up. He's wrapped up over the top by Paul Gallen. John Morris was around the legs. Slowly to his feet. Roberts dummies inside to Hodgson. Morris striding on the outside of Pomeroy, able to offload the ball to Lett, who away from the touchline. Gets it back to 20 metres in from this western touchline. Millington back on the angle, pass around the corner. He couldn't hit the Stag, and Cronulla has come up.
It was a risky pass, wasn't it? There's always a high-risk pass that wasn't guaranteed to come off.
Tupou had Wade Graham arriving shortly, and there's a hand there. Josh Reynolds and
I understand that, but hands in there.
Michael Hodgson penalised. Cronulla in good field position.
What about passing there too, didn't he, Tupou?
It's a tough one when your arm gets caught in with the football. What do you leave it there? Because you know if you try and move it out, even if you just let it go, is always going to be a penalty. Graham. Townsend. Cross field. Here's Gallen. Gardner is there. Bakuyu. Straight and hard. Bakuyu's tackled. 15 metres away from the line. Gallen. Lead left. Goes right. Offloading. Back to Townsend. Now up the top to Graham. Tagatese ran the decoy. Here's Best. Good tackle. Turner. They lost some metres there, Cronulla, but a quick play the ball. Wright picks it up. And Matthew Wright is only 2 metres away. Back to Colin Best. He keeps it alive to Tupou. Canterbury's defence is holding though. And Tupou is tackled 8 metres away. Graham. Townsend. Somehow the ball comes out to Gardner. There's no way through for Cronulla. They're going backwards. Paul Gallen. Now Pomeroy goes forward. The little flick out the back, and Stapleton had the tippy down the touchline. He couldn't hang on to the football.
Oh, he thought he was a champ, didn't he, Nathan Stapleton? He got the ball out the back from Pomeroy. Well, he had to stay on his wing because there was nowhere else to go. He does just that. Oh, I think he tried to pass it back inside. Look at that, it's got no room. Stepped on the line a couple of times.
Find out what happened at half-time. Touchline, Braithen Astor.
Yeah, for the Bulldogs, Kevin Moore, the coach, was critical of his side's discipline there in the first half. Way too many errors, and wants to definitely pick up in that department. But he wants his side to remain enthusiastic and positive in the second half. Shane Flanagan from the Sharks also wanted the team to remain positive, but encouraged them to keep playing the way they're playing. They've had a great first half, and he wants them to continue that and be patient.
Stag with the offload. Millington just over the 30. Quick play the ball. Reynolds out of acting half. He caught Morris and Graham with their back turn and picked up an easy 10 to 15 metres. Now Turner. Tagatese was never marker and never back the 10. Made the tackle. It is the last. Now Keating kicking into the corner. Only fine touch. No, it's a terrific kick. Gardner has to play at it and looks up and sees a good chase here from the Bulldogs, and now Cronulla will have to work it out on their own end.
Sharks are going to have to be careful offensively around that dummy half area whenever Josh Reynolds is in the dummy half. He's lightning out of there. Taught them out to set up that second try. Well, set it up for himself, didn't he? Late in the first half, just by finding out a lazy marker, and he's looking for it again.
Gallen tries to run over the top. Ben Roberts, who holds on and gets some help from Stag. Jeremy Smith getting ready to come back on for Cronulla. He does. Sam Tagatese comes from the... Now Snowden hit a solid shot by Millington. And Ed Eastwood coming in as well. It is the last tackle. Graham with a kick under pressure. Straight down the throat here of Ben Barber. Decides to give Michael another run. Lappard. This is Turner. 10 for the halfway line. Stag. Was it played at? It was. The referee said knock on by Morris.
A bit unlucky there. David Staggs always had that runner on his right and threw a little dummy. When he decided to pass it, a Sharks player read it and put his hand out.
I think he was just making a tackle. John Morris as well. It's an interesting that
Same as your boys, make sure you
Millington making a tackle as the kick, so that's fine.
You just got to wrap the arms, haven't you?
It's interesting when a player, we've discussed this before, about making a play at the ball when it's been kicked, a player moving off his defensive line and then he'll just turn his back, is not ruled of playing at the football. Yet a player who's making a tackle and making no effort to play it, if the ball hits his hand while making the tackle, that is deemed to be making a play.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Reynolds to Stagg. Just shy of the 30-metre line. Here's Roberts. Comes back to Reynolds. Almost waiting for someone on the side to take the line on.
The Sharks line has to come up on both sides of the ruck and stay up there.
Keating. Millington. Here's Eastwood. Tackle right in the centre of ANZ Stadium. They come to the left. Roberts.
Good.
The kick, awkward bounce for Gardner. And can he stay in the field of play? No. A goal and drop out. And another set here for the Sharks, the defenders. We head downstairs. Braithen Astor with a special guest.
Yeah, I'm down here with New South Wales and Bulldogs looking my face, mate. Well, how's the injury?
Yeah, it's not too bad, mate. Just this weekend, just got a bit of a bang in the ear. It took a bit of time to come down off that high. It was, an amazing night for us, and something I'll never forget.
That's awesome, mate. What do you think the boys need to do today to get the victory here in the second half?
Yeah, I think they need to sort of keep completing their sets and starting to pull Cronulla's ruck apart a bit. They need to change the angles and try and work over the Snowdens and Douglas and Big Gal after his performance on Wednesday night.
Cheers, mate. Well, good luck for the next Origin too, mate. I hope you're in there and I hope you get the win for the Blues.
Thanks very much, Braith.
Michael Ennis with Braithen Astor as Reynolds runs from acting half and tackle. One still. So far today himself. Stagg, Keating. Roberts, ball to Morris, and it was well read by Pomeroy. Inside the 20, Canterbury by a metre or two. Roberts, down the short side comes Ryan. Cuts out Barber to find Lett. It is the last. Roberts kicking it across field. Here comes Steve Turner, but Wright has that one covered, and Laffey makes the tackle.
Been very solid, Matthew Wright out there today. Done some very good things for the Cronulla Sharks on the left wing, and defensively they held that together really well. I agree with what Michael Ennis just said, talking to Braithen Astor. Canterbury's best attack today would come up the middle of the park. That's where the Sharks have been vulnerable with their big man at times.
About to see the first bit of action today for Stuart Flanagan and Cronulla on the 16. There's another penalty given away by the Bulldogs, let Cronulla out of their own end. So Stuart Flanagan going on for John Morris. And that's his first bit of action today. That is the sixth change being made by Cronulla. Bakuya. Ryan making the tackle after he dropped off initially, and Roberts involved as well. Townsend. Now, here is a good run by Snowden. Such a hard man to put down. Three Bulldogs players. And they can't get him all the way down to the ground. And here's Flanagan out of acting half and a high-ish tackle. And
hey, boys, we got it. I got it. Hey. Yeah, go back. Wait. Mate, you got a penalty. Don't need to come in, okay?
Josh, it's high, mate. Let's get it right.
Let's go back. Thanks, boys. Michael, let's go.
Josh Reynolds, the man, penalised there.
Let's go.
Well, 2 points here do they take? It's a tackle that had to be made. Stuart Flanagan threw a great dummy there.
Come back.
And if Reynolds hadn't been on the spot, yeah, it's an ordinary looking tackle. It is too high. He wasn't on the spot there. Flanagan was straight through.
What have Cronulla got here? They lead by 2. Haven't been down here for a while. Gardner. Back on the inside. Gallen did well to hang on to that. And Millington with the tackle. A couple of metres away. Graham. Snowden with a big don't arguing. Hayden Tolman. In fact, it was number 21, Josh Reynolds, held onto the arm. Didn't get pushed away. Smith. He's only a metre away from the line. Flanagan's at acting half dummies. Tries to burrow over. He's over the line. Has he got it down?
Kade, leave it to us, right?
Steve Tedrow Lyons right there says no. It will be the last tackle.
You want to try? Here we are, boys.
What play have they got here?
With your foot, Stuart.
Nathan Stapleton, the right winger, is right on the touchline. They go to the left through Tupou. Do they know it's the last? Straight and hard, and they're in. Paul Gallen gets the reward. I think the Bulldogs were waiting for the kick, and Cronulla said, no, we will run it, we will score.
They went to one of their go-to men. It's Gardner or Gallen today. And Paul Gallen charging his way over on the back of a nice offload from Anthony Tupou. It looked like it was going to come out the back. It looked like it was going to... Well, here's Flanagan going himself and going close. Referee right on the spot. Gee, that was close. Says he's held up. Looks like it might come out the back. No. Oh, well disguised there, Anthony Tupou. And Gallen one-on-one. How do you stop him from there? Well, you don't. Chris Keating doesn't, that's for sure. It's a real tough tackle, that one, to make on one of the most powerful men in the game. Sharks extend their lead.
The first real opportunity they've had to mount a bit of pressure down that end of the park in this half. A couple of penalties conceded by Canterbury to give possession and field position to Cronulla. Hayden Tolman's about to come on. It still is a converted try, the difference, so this kick is very important from Chad Townsend. This with one attempted conversion from near touch in the first half, and this one is not as difficult as that one, but it's still not an easy kick. It's on his preferred side though of the field. He struck that one very nicely and just inside the right hand upright to extend the lead to 8. Cronulla 18, Canterbury 10. 25 to go.
You just get the feeling they're going to need more points. On both sides, you can see issues with their defence at times. They open up, and I reckon both teams have got plenty of points in them.
Stay on, boys. Ben, stay on.
And 18 probably won't be enough for the Sharks to get home.
Hayden Tolman with the restart. Oh, sorry, he's on at the restart for Michael Hodgson. And the 6th interchange being made by Canterbury. There's Tupou. Big set here for Cronulla to get down the other end of the park. Rice. Smith off the halfway line. Gallen was the decoy runner. Here's the kick from Townsend into the corner. It will find touch, and that is a terrific set after points from the Sharks. They've taken it to within 10 metres of the Bulldogs line as we head down to the touchline. Braithen Astor.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice the lead up to that try was Cronulla's pet play down the short side. Anthony Tupou, we used to do it at the Roosters. He goes to the line, he takes Gallen, and he can hit him short or hit Gardner out the back. He executes it so well. Probably the best in the competition. Good try.
Again, boys, wait a few seconds to get the forward pack. Seconds are locked in. Thanks, Ben. We go.
He's ripped in, hasn't he, since coming off the bench, Anthony Tupou. Unfamiliar territory to him, mostly a starter. I said earlier, Jason Bakui has been playing some good footy, and the coach has decided to get him in the starting lineup.
Plays above his weight too, Anthony Tupou, doesn't he? He's Not a big man, but so hard to put on the ground. Brent Millington has left the field for Canterbury to allow Frank Pritchard back on. That is their 7th interchange. Just 7 tackles and 3 hit-ups from Frank Pritchard so far this afternoon.
Even in those 3 hit-ups, though, he just takes so much stopping. He's so likely to bust the line, or he bends it every time.
Josh, get 10. Josh.
Good bounce there for Gardner, who did well. Morris screws him to ground.
Hold, boys. Hold, hold. Go.
Pomeroy.
Off the ball, Aiden, off that ball, off that ball. Get out of there, Aiden, quicker.
He is right. Just drifting across field, and so easy meet there for the defence, and his tackle about 3 or 4 metres short of the halfway line.
Get out of there.
Flanagan, out Gallen. Run up the middle of the ruck. It is the last tackle. And they give away a penalty on the last.
I gave you one back there, not this one.
Oh, that's where you got that.
Knee in.
You just spoke at the scrum, mate. Yes, it was.
They're thinking about the 2 points here.
8 points, 10 points.
Still not 2 tries ahead, is it? Well, he didn't drop it. What was the penalty for?
Go again.
Take him back to his team, Shorty. I'll get the
That's 2 or 3 times. Okay. Up that end of the field, adding time my hand on the ball, slow the play of the ball down. I'll give him that one. This one here, he then pushes the bloke over, right? Slow the play of the ball, and that's why the penalty was given. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
All I saw was Paul Gallen fumble the football. He didn't drop it.
Interesting decision here to take the 2 points. If he kicks it, it'll make it 10 points the difference. And if he doesn't kick it, it's not going to be that easy to kick it dead. And look at all the Canterbury players there, all in the line, 20 metres out. Normally when a player's kicking a penalty goal, they're all over the place in case the ball may hit the upright or he misses it and catches it in goal. There's no one in the in-goal area. Ben Barber under the posts. They conceding the 2 that Townsend will most probably kick it from in front. It's not an easy one, even though he is almost directly in front. He's about 37 metres out. He does have the distance and the direction. And the 2 points, Cronulla lead by 20 points to 10. But it's still 2 converted tries that the Bulldogs need to get in front, which it is possible with, 18 minutes to go. They're certainly, if they can get some possession down the other end of the field, Canterbury, we know they've got some points in them.
Plenty of time. I thought that was going to hit the post then, and you're right. None of the Bulldogs players had thought at all about what would happen from a rebound off the posts.
Well, Benny Barber thought it was going to hit the post because he immediately turned around and got himself into a position for it. Disputing the tackle. Shoulder, says the referee. Graham. Smith.
4. Move, Josh, let him go.
Bakuya. Just shy of the halfway line.
Off, Josh.
Josh Reynolds called offside, and Graham with the kick and watches it bounce and then almost steals it out of their hands. There with Barber and runs at Flanagan. Comes up with a good tackle. Casiano is getting ready to come back on for the Dogs, and that is their 8th interchange.
2. Sharks, move. Let's go.
There's Pritchard.
3.
Just his 4th hit up of the day. Canterbury need him to get more football. Ball Keating off the feet, play on, says the referee. Tolman. Now Roberts. They had numbers there. The Bulldogs. Roberts took the line on and was tackled. It is the last tackle. Still complaining the Bulldogs about tackle count not restarting. And the great take by Stapleton. Casiano called out at the very last minute. Would have been interesting if Gardner had dropped that, I should say Stapleton dropped that football, because obviously he was in front of the kicker.
In front of the kicker and having some effect on the play.
Pomeroy gets on the outside here and almost hurdles the tackle of Keating.
Oh, I think he might have copped a boot there in the face, Chris Keating.
And Pomeroy hurt himself. He has copped an accidental kick. Chris Keating, of course, a broken jaw a couple of seasons back playing for Parramatta on knee. Was it?
I think so.
Parramatta against Manly at Brookie Oval on NRL Sunday. Maybe a cork there for Pomeroy from the jaw of Keating. Last tackle, and he had look Chad Townsend where he was going to kick that. Now Gardner's under pressure, gets a hurried kick away. And Turner is able to return it here for Canterbury.
Well, that may be the territorial advantage that the Bulldogs are looking for. Haven't spent a lot of time at the other end of the field in the second half. They're starting from good position on the back of a mistake there from Townsend.
There's Tolman. As we head down to the touchline, Braithen Astor.
Yeah, although the Bulldogs haven't had much opportunity here in this second half, as you can see, a penalty to the Bulldogs. So, as I was talking about there, Benny Barber, Chris Keating, and also Ben Roberts. There's an opportunity now with this penalty to start combining, start throwing some opportunities at the Sharks' defence and try and create some opportunities here, because as I said, they haven't had many opportunities, and there's a big chance here.
I think Frank Pritchard's lining up for the first hit up here. And he's going to take a lot of defenders with him. Good offload. Oh, there's a mistake. You know, I think they should be looking to Pritchard left side.
Second or third hit up rather than the first one.
Yeah, that's right. Let the big boppers do the early work and get him on the edge on the left. Just out in front there of Aidan Tolman.
Stay up, boys, stay up.
Relief there, more than anything, for John Morris, for his teammates that are on the field.
Hey, boys, back it off. Back it off. Heads in, boys, heads in. Arms over. Stay in. Stay there, here we go.
Stapleton. Pomeroy still in some discomfort for Cronulla. I don't know that you can carry a bloke that is struggling with a cork, though. He's just done some star jumps. He'll most probably stay out there, but I'd hate to...
Still doing star jumps. Star jumps and a few burpees as well. He'll be right.
Snowden plays it. Gallen in high there by Stagg, and there he is still limping in Pomeroy. Smith, damn it, inside to Gardner, not fallen for by Pritchard or Reynolds. Right on the halfway line on the last tackle here for Cronulla. Townsend. Barber on the fly, dummies to let this time. The Bulldogs need some Benny Barber magic. 12 to go. 10 the difference. Cronulla.
And they need to pick up the speed of their play, the ball here. The Bulldogs just try to catch out the Sharks markers, which they got a bit scrappy at the back end of the first half.
They haven't won here at ANZ Stadium since 2008. Haven't won against the Bulldogs since 2007. Ryan. Oh, hit high. Kade Snowden. And the penalty sufficient.
Offside, gents. What are you doing?
Well, that'll help their
Quick tap
cause.
taken here by Reynolds. And he was smashed by Pomeroy. And, well,
Sharks knock on.
He's affecting the tackle. He's off fine.
we were discussing that. I don't know that his hands were anywhere near it. I think he jolted the ball free of Josh Reynolds. That is a big break here. And this is the high tackle. Bang, right across the jaw of Andrew Ryan.
Slipped up off the arm.
But I think he's gone the shoulder charge.
What are we doing?
I don't see that it's hit the arm of Pomeroy at all.
No.
Heads in, gents. Heads in.
Tough call, and for the second time in a row, the Bulldogs have lost the football on first tackle after a penalty. Lucky let off there. Barber was wrapped up.
Very lucky let off.
Bring him up, bring him up.
He's hurt Benny Barber. Is it cramp or a little bit more serious? No, he seems to be walking okay now. Back play. Reynolds. Keating. There's Roberts. Pritchard straight at Townsend, who made a good tackle. He was over the top. Akuya around the legs. Roberts to Casiano. Someone's in the forward. Obviously not the officials, one of the players. Only a metre away from the line. Reynolds. Now Stagg. There was a huge gap there. Closed by Gallen. Head clash with Tupou. Paul Gallen's not 100%. It is the last tackle. Roberts to Keating. To the line. The kick off legs. Not played out. Morris out the back over the touchline. Cronulla's defence. Cronulla's defence holds.
They had a good chance with Stagg running into almost into a bit of space. Kick that didn't get through the defensive line. Been one of their problems today, the Dogs, kicking game. Got to get up the other end of the park, Sharks. Not out of the danger zone yet. Plenty of football left. We know how quickly sides can score 2 converted tries.
Running it to the halfway line. 2 tackles left in the set. Snowden. It is the last. Townsend. Keeping it low, and Turner there at fullback. 10 out from his own line. Douglas is there waiting for him. And makes the tackle. So Canterbury, the clock is winding down inside the final 10, and they're down the wrong end of the field. And they need to score 2 converted tries. Tolman. Casiano. Arm free and threw the ball out the back. It went forward into touch anyway. And they're throwing caution to the wind here, Canterbury, and the passes are not sticking.
Well, it's getting that time, isn't it, where they have to. Casiano, he tried to slip it to Frank Pritchard. Pritchard, in fact, told him to get in there and take that ball up, and he was going to run off him. Just trying to get the right arm free, couldn't, still tried to flick it out the back. Went right across the front there of Tim Laffey.
Stay in, boys. Stay in. Second rows.
Time off with 7.5 remaining.
Hold it, boys, hold. 2 hands, 2 hands. Here we go. Out.
Controlled the ball reasonably well today, Cronulla. Just 6 incomplete sets, and 2 of those were when they were taken into touch. So they've only had 4 drop balls.
2.
These incomplete sets, which is pretty impressive. Smith, dummy to Pomeroy, who's still limping around. I think it's a cork to the left thigh. Townsend.
Luke Douglas is limping as well.
That knee again.
A couple of passengers out there. Trainer just asked if he's okay. So of course I am.
Here's Tupou. Gallen's on the inside. Tolman waiting for him, but Graham was there support, and the Sharkies, for the first time in 4 years, have beaten the Bulldogs. And who else but Paul Gallen involved? The pass again from Anthony Tupou.
The same names keep popping up, don't they? Tupou, Gallen. Gardner's not there this time, heavily involved early, and good backing up there. Wade Graham, he plunges over. The Sharks bench went up. Their fans went up. The team went up. They haven't had too many wins this year, and this is a real good one. Quality effort there.
Sharks fans will be happy they get the 2 points, and the fact that Paul Gallen will be playing next week. As he said on NRL on Super Saturday yesterday, that if they got beaten today, he'd seriously consider standing down from next weekend, next Saturday, against the Gold Coast Titans at Skilled Park. As the Bulldogs fans have had enough and seen their side lose their 5th game in 6 matches. That is something you don't often see from Bulldogs fans.
Well, they're not happy.
They're only just outside the top 8. It's not as if the season's in turmoil or anything, in disarray. A couple of wins turns everything around. It's just you hope you can do that.
Well, their halfback and hooker are both missing.
Chad Townsend adds the extra 2. And Paul Gallen is getting... Look, he clashed heads with Anthony Tupou when they were defending their own line. Ricky Stewart will be watching that with interest. 26 points to 10. Doesn't get any easier for the Dogs. Next Friday night, they take on the Tigers at Campbelltown. Cronulla on Super Saturday, next Saturday afternoon at Skilled Park against the Titans.
Well, Paul Gallen might not be able to back up next week. He's got a towel against his face, maybe for if there's a bit of blood there, but looks like it could be a cheekbone that's bothering him.
Yes, it doesn't look good as he goes up the tunnel with a towel to the face. Hopefully, from New South Wales supporters' perspective, it's not as bad as it could be. Certainly a cheekbone that they were looking at. He did stay on, though, and was continuing to play until the game was wrapped up. Was involved in that try. So hopefully it's just a precaution and it's just exhaustion from Paul Gallen.
I reckon it'll take something pretty serious for Paul Gallen to miss a game of football at that level. Certainly inspirational on Wednesday night. Kevin Moore, furrowed brow, and why wouldn't he? What's going on with his team?
Today they have, as you mentioned, no halfback, no regular hooker. And Mike Lennis losing State of Origin player. And Hodkinson, of course, out, still suspended. But there is something missing there, isn't there? When you consider the tries they've scored, the Dogs. One, Ben Barber came when it could easily have been a try down the other end to Cronulla. This will be another set here. And knocked on by Cronulla. Another opportunity here for the Bulldogs.
No, boys, the ball only ever went that way and hit both hands, so it can only be
an opportunist try for Ben Barber, and then a really well constructed try by Josh Reynolds off the bench. But that was it today, unless they can pull something out in this last couple of sets of 6, the Bulldogs. Haven't really troubled the Sharks too much in the second half.
Keating stepping away from Gardner and trying to duck under the tackle there of Douglas. Just shy of the 20-metre line. So 2 minutes remaining. Can they get a consolation try here, the Bulldogs? Turner away from Smith. Keating. Halatau backing his way towards the goal line. Gardner holds on. Townsend was around the legs. Reynolds, Pritchard's lost it.
Gee, better pass is over there. That pass hits its mark. Frank Pritchard would have plunged over. Just went behind him. It's not their afternoon. He was halfway through that defensive line. Would have taken some stopping from there. Big Frank.
They needed more from him today, didn't they, the Dogs? Just 6 hit-ups, 1 offload from Frank Pritchard. Spent a lot of time on the interchange bench. Maybe he's not 100%. He's just such a key player, an impact player, someone that can create for Ben Barber. Best. Here's Gardner. He's Cronulla got something left in the final 30 seconds of this one. I think position will continue at the Bulldogs after this loss to Cronulla. They've won 12 of the past 15 matches against the Sharks. And Cronulla with an error to give the Bulldogs the last chance in this one. Let away from the touchline, kicks for himself, and somehow gets it back.
He was as desperate for that as he would have been if he was scoring a try.
Reynolds, Tagatese wraps him up. There is the siren, and Cronulla's season remains alive. They led by 12 points to 10 at half-time. They kept the Dogs scoreless in the second half and ran out in the end comfortable winners by 26 points to 10. 4 tries to 2, and the misery continues for Canterbury-Bankstown. They've lost 10 of their past 11 away matches, Cronulla, and they've come up with a big win today. One man that tried his heart out, as he always does for Canterbury. 34 tackles, 9 hit-ups. David Stagg, a disappointed David Stagg, I'm sure, is downstairs with Braithen Astor.
Yeah, I'm here with David Stagg, Bulldogs lock. Bad loss, then head into the bye, and then another bad loss today. Where do you guys go from here?
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I don't know. I guess we just get back to maybe a cliche, but we've just got to get back and train harder next week and come out and have a better performance again, I guess.
Is there anything in particular that you think you guys need to work on more so than others, so that you guys can improve? And I mean, you're not out of the 8 yet. You're still in the 8. Still got a good opportunity to finish the season strong.
Oh, it's probably a little bit too early straight up the game to sort of pinpoint exactly where we are, but I guess you probably look down again a little bit everywhere. I guess it's just that intensity we're probably lacking a bit. We had some patches where enthusiasm was really high and we were on the front foot, but we didn't do that for the full 80.
All right, Dave. Good luck next week in Campbelltown against the Tigers, mate.
Thanks, Rod.
Now with Nathan Gardner. Congratulations, mate. Great win today. You must be proud of the performance from the whole team.
Yeah, it was. I think it was definitely exactly what we needed. We spoke this week that we're going to break it up into a 4-week little block, and I think this is going to determine our season. And it was a bit disappointing that 10 minutes before half time, but I think we come out in the second half and we started how we started in the first half, so it was pleasing.
Yeah, you certainly did. You finished strong. I thought your performance today in particular was fantastic. You were heavily involved at the start of the first half. Was that part of the plan?
Yeah, I mean, Flano's, he's trying to get me more involved, as much as I can, and I think I'm that sort of player where, I love being involved in as many plays as I can, and it's just good for me to, sort of benefit the team.
I think the big question on all the Sharks fans' minds is, do you still think you can make the semi-finals?
Yeah, we definitely can. Like I said, we've got a little 4-week block set up, and I think it's going to determine our season. And we got one in today. We got a couple home games coming up, so I think this is an important month.
Well, once again, congratulations. Good week. Good luck next week against the Titans.
Thanks, mate.
Nathan Gardner, terrific again today for Cronulla. What a player he is, and a big day for the Sharkies. They finally win here at ANZ Stadium. We'll take a break and come back and review NRL Sunday. Welcome back to ANZ Stadium. NRL Sunday wrapping up for round 15, and it's celebration for Cronulla. They haven't beaten the Bulldogs since 2007 or won here at ANZ Stadium since 2008. So it's certainly a long time between drinks. Victorious today by 26 points to 10 as we look at the stats, and they controlled the ball very well today, the Sharks, and they were the better side and deserved a win.
Yeah, a really good completion rate, and at crucial times the Bulldogs made errors. They got a couple of attacking opportunities in the second half. But, you know, they made mistakes really early in their sets and just didn't mount any pressure. The Sharks, on the other hand, they came with a game plan to test the Bulldogs' defence, to throw the football around a bit, and they did that. They did it really well.
They certainly did. And that 10-minute period just before half-time when they led 12-0, then at the break it was 12-10, you just got the feeling the Dogs were making their way back into the game. But Cronulla held them scoreless in the second half. The only points coming after the break were tries to Cronulla. And even though it was the points scored, the 26th got them home, I think it was the defence in the second half which proved the difference, because the Bulldogs never really looked like it, did they?
No, they didn't, and certainly was some very good defence. We haven't given probably enough of a rap to the Sharks' defence today. This is a really nicely disguised pass there. It looked like Anthony Tupou had dummied to Gallen. He was going out the back to Gardner, who was a handful all day, but he gave it to Gallen. And once again, inside Tupou to Gallen. Wade Graham backing up. That's the try right at the end that got the Sharks well and truly in the lead, and well, enough in the lead that we knew they were going to win with about 5 or 6 minutes to play. They were very good today. The Sharks deserved their win. Hopefully there's more of that to come.
Yes, 4 tries to 2, the difference between the two sides, and a couple of penalty goals there to Chad Townsend, increasing that margin to 16. It is pretty much doom and gloom at the moment for the Bulldogs. Certainly not the case today for the Sharks, who are by far the better side. And while Nathan Gardner continues to impress, of course, they really suffered a blow, Cronulla, when he and Albert Kelly both got injured in the same match, and they are the two sparks in attack for Cronulla. Kelly's a couple of weeks away. He's back running, but this bloke is back. He suffered another knock to the ankle today, but gee whiz, he had a hand in the first 2 tries and is very hard to stop.
Well, before he scored his own try, it was just after this try that he set up for Ben Pomeroy. Just before this try, he did really well to get over there and score. He was limping around with a sore ankle, and you were wondering whether, you know, he might go off or not. He's obviously got some discomfort there from that ankle injury, and it must be some loose ligaments there that are always going to give him some trouble when he gets tackled awkwardly. But he knows that. He plays on with that. He plays with pain. He's a real good player, Nathan Gardner, and when he's injecting himself in the play, the opposition are in all sorts of trouble.
Well, I don't know how Paul Gallen was able to back up today after the workload he put himself through on Wednesday night in State of Origin 2, but not only did he back up, he worked his way into the game, and in the end it was another terrific Paul Gallen performance. I mean, look at all those fantasy points in the NRL Jim Beam fantasy competition at foxsports.com.au. He was inspirational again for his teammates. Copped a knock towards the end of the game, which forced him from the field. We'll find out shortly from Braithen as to how he is, but unbelievable effort again from Paul Gallen.
Didn't have to do the workload in defence that he has had in some games, and attack-wise, not as much in the first half. It really came into his own in the second half. Scored a try, set a try up, and he's just such a worry to the defence. He's so hard. If you get 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, they just can't put him down with any ease at all. He's a powerful man. You New South Welshmen all know that, don't you? He's a great player, and he had another wonderful game today.
Well, he suffered a knock, and I thought it was a head clash with Anthony Tupou when they were defending on their goal line. We'll have a look and see where the incident did occur that caused a little bit of consternation for the Cronulla supporters, and I suppose New South Wales supporters as well. It was defending their line, and they both went to make the tackle. That's where I thought it happened anyway. And a little bit of a clash of heads, just checking the cheekbone, but we'll find out from Braith very shortly how he is. And it is the major story, I suppose, out of today. Is Paul Gallen seriously injured? Braith and Asta's been trying to find out. Braith, what is the news?
Yeah, well, the good news for Sharks fans and also New South Wales fans is that Paul Gallen will be fine. He did suffer mild concussion in the 78th minute, but no serious injuries, and lucky enough, he'll be around for Origin and for the Sharks next week.
Well, mate, 2 contrasting games today. Teams today. Cronulla started the game with plenty of confidence. They wanted to throw the football around. The Dogs just can't seem to get traction at the moment.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Cronulla were the better team today. They were in that first half, and I thought, you know, Canterbury were lucky to just only be 2 points behind in that first half. Way too many errors from the Dogs. They seem to be lacking confidence at the moment. Didn't throw too much at Cronulla as well, even though they didn't have too many opportunities. But when Cronulla did get the opportunities, they were fantastic. Gardner was great. Once again, as you pointed out, Gallen, fantastic. Started the game a little bit slow, but definitely come home strong. And I thought Anthony Tupou was fantastic off the bench, setting up that Gallen try in the left-hand corner.
He certainly was, and that's their problems, Gary and Braith, scoring points. Cronulla, they never really get enough points to win games. Today they scored 26. Tupou coming off the bench. Jeremy Smith back. Nathan Gardner playing well. And when you consider that Shane Flanagan tells me, Braith, that Albert Kelly is 2 to 3 weeks away, they're getting some point scoring back in them.
Yeah, they've got some stability in the halves there with Townsend and with Graham as well. But, you know, I think Gardner's the key. Him getting involved early on in the match, his speed, he's also got good vision. As you've seen, he's got a kicking game as well. But when they're playing behind a pack, Jeremy Smith, Douglas, Snowden, Gallen, you got Tupou coming off the bench, arguably the best pack in the game. If you can find some tries off the back of that, you know, they could make the semi-finals.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for your time today.
Cheers,
good
boys.
luck next week for the Roosters after the bye. You need 2 points now.
Don't we what? Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Braith and Astor, part of the Fox Sports commentary team here on NRL Sunday. And Gary, always nice to see teams celebrating after a win in Cronulla, just their 4th win of the year, and we'll give them an enormous amount of confidence. They go to the Gold Coast next week to take on the Titans at Skill Park. Very much a winnable game. And as we said before the game, as we look at the ladder, the Bulldogs drop out of the 8 with the win to the Newcastle Knights last night, and that minus 27 does them no favours at all. But despite all the doom and gloom, they are equal on points with the West Tigers, who of course have a game in hand, who sit in 6th position on the table.
They're still in the mix. Of course, they're still in the mix. Look, I've got a feeling that the bottom teams of the top 8, 7th and 8th, might be on a really low score this year. But there's just such a big difference between those top sides. You know, after you get, you know, the Dragons down to the Brisbane Broncos, from there there's a 6-point break. The Tigers are, I know a couple of those, well, the Tigers have a game in hand, but there's a massive break there, isn't there, between those bottom sides. So if you can just stay in touch, I've got a feeling, you know, as I said before, those bottom 4 or 5 teams, I think it might be a little bit late to make a run, but you can squeeze into that top 8 with a good 4 or 5 weeks now.
We see the Penrith Panthers there sit on 14 points. It's a big game for them next Sunday afternoon. They're at home to the North Queensland Cowboys. That is your NRL Sunday match next Sunday afternoon after the Warriors take on the Storm earlier. Doubleheader next Sunday afternoon right here on Fox Sports, Australia's sports leader. On behalf of Gary Belcher, Braith and Astor and the crew, I'm Mark Braybrook. We bid you a very good afternoon from ANZ Stadium. See you next week.
A production of Fox Sports in partnership with the National Rugby League.